Hello, hello, friends. Happy very overdue Tuesday. Get the frick up, y'all. Because we gotta make up for lost time. We're on borrowed time right now because I unintentionally dipped last week and lo and behold, never even actually said anything about it. Tuesday came and went and I said, holy shnikes, whoops. Sorry, I didn't even make a post. That's on me. Was doing some traveling, was literally on a plane that day and then disembarked after Dork Discourse would have started. And I was like, oh shiz, shnikes. Didn't even make an announcement. So sorry about that. Sorry to leave y'all hanging, but you know we would never just disappear. Sometimes we just take unintentional hiatuses, and that's okay. We're always lurking around. We're always gonna come back. So welcome. Thank you all so much for hanging out. What's up, Simply? We had Sean, Charlie, Emery's, Ty Sabin, Jason Olsen. Let's get it. Skull. Sal is here. Stanley's Bird Church. Gang's all here. Retro. Let's go. Let's go. Good to see some of y'all. Familiar faces.
What's going on, everybody?
Familiar faces indeed. Jerry was up in the early gang. Let's get it. Let's get it. Thank y'all for hanging out after we ghosted y'all last week, but we're back. And we're going to make up for that. And we are T-minus like a month out from a lot of things. T-minus a month to the day, I believe, for Star Wars Celebration. Literally, so it's crunch time. And it's going to go by like that. So get ready, gear up for that, folks. And for the influx of content that is going to be coming your way. But also, we are less than a month out from the premiere. I believe it is going to be, is that the 14th or the 13th? What day is that Sunday, y'all? Is it the 12th? I don't, April something. I think it's April.
I don't know.
Help.
I don't know what day it is.
I need a calendar. You have a calendar. You have technology.
13th.
13th.
Is the Sunday.
April 13th, I believe, is the premiere of The Last of Us Season 2. So, well, yes, we're in Andor mode, and y'all, I actually finally watched that little teaser featurette that they did. We watched the live stream that Tony Gilroy did. They had all these awesome guests on from the cast. Adria Arjona, Mon Mothma. It was really, really awesome. I hope they continue to do that with the rest of the Disney Plus shows. I don't know why they haven't done it. You suggested maybe they were just testing the waters, testing it out, seeing how it goes, but I thought it went awesome. Charlie, member for 42 months. Holy smokes. Less than 4 weeks to go until I get to high five you both. Frick, yes. Hayden is sold out now. Glad you got him when you did. It wouldn't have happened without you, Charlie. Without you, I saw you up in the early chat talking about waiting in the queue. I was like, holy shnikes, we can go wait in the queue already? Tom the Archer, yes, yes. If y'all aren't aware, Tom's been over there playing some Last of Us Part 2 gameplay over on the McBots channel.
Over on McBots.
Yes, good idea.
For those who are here because they like The Last of Us and are looking to hang out and watch some gameplay, I'll probably be streaming like an hour after we wrap up this stream.
Yeah, we'll see.
Over on McBots.
Stay tuned.
We got part 5.
Dang, you've already done 5 parts.
So yeah.
Well, yes, that's what inspired me mainly to discuss this topic. Danny, good to see you. I'm happy to catch you guys live. I hope everyone's doing well and staying safe. You as well, Danny. Thank you for the energy. You guys could do a reverse surprise and do a live after unexpectedly not getting the plane to Star Wars Celebration. Don't manifest such awful luck, Retro, but that would be tragic and hysterical. And then we just do streams of us watching with FOMO from here.
That would suck.
Wish I was going to Celebration this year. Sadly, too far away, but I still so want to go. Don't worry, Simply. We are going to, obviously, I don't know what it's like to ever go in the flesh. It's going to be my first time, so I can't speak to the nature or the energy of it, but I think it's going to be epic, and obviously I don't think anything can replace the energy of being there, but we are going to freaking try, y'all. I'm going to vlog every minute that I possibly can. We're going to stream afterwards every day, just share our thoughts. Yep. So we are going to, y'all are going to be sick of us by the time Celebration is over. My goal is to try to encompass as much of the experience as I possibly can, since I know it is really like a luxury to go, especially since, and even for us being, thankfully, at least on the west coast of the United States, that already is a huge advantage, and we still have a 12-hour flight. So I can't imagine if some of y'all, friggin' Charlie, some of y'all are traveling from the East Coast, you're gonna have travel. So yes,
Not too
but
bad. It's like 14 hours direct from New York, I think.
how is it 12 for us? Do they go the other way?
No.
How is it 12 hours direct for us?
Do we need to go into 3D flight path analysis? If you think about the globe and you're on Japan,
The globe?
the globe. You think
The
about the
globe.
globe, you're in Japan, you're looking east to the United States. You're going to see basically LA and New York, and they're not going to look too far away left to right, which means that LA and New York, from like latitude perspective, are way closer together than longitudinally the difference between Tokyo and LA and New York. So LA, yes, it's a 12-hour direct flight, but your south to north is not that far relative to east to west. Same with New York. New York doesn't really have anything to go north to south. It just has to go west, but their west is more direct, like over the pole. Like the straight line, if you take a globe and you draw a straight line between Tokyo and LA around the circumference of the earth, and a straight line from Tokyo to New York around the circumference of the earth, the LA Tokyo line is going to go like over the ocean, like middle Pacific. But that line from Tokyo to New York is going to go over the Arctic. But it's going to be a straight line on a globe, but on a 2D map, it's going to be a big arc. And then another arc. But the net distance is not that much further to New York. Yeah, if you're going to fly to LA first and then go to Tokyo, then yeah, that's a ton of travel.
Well, who said it? Retro put it perfectly. Kat currently using all her brain cells to work this out. Yep. I still don't really grasp.
You need a globe. You got to think about the globe.
Yeah.
Because a 2D map, you look at it and you're like, yeah, obviously it's way farther. But if you have a globe, it's going to be a sphere. And a straight line from Tokyo over the top to New York, the radial circumference length of that line is going to be a little bit longer than the line around the globe from Tokyo to LA.
Well,
anyway,
geography lesson for the day aside. John Pitts, thank you for being here. Hope you're having a great and awesome day. Hope one day I get to go to Celebration and San Diego Comic-Con for real. Yes. And let's hope one day Celebration's back over here in the States, so that we can all have higher chances of meeting one another.
Yes.
And shout out to Simply. Oh my gosh, got accepted to college today.
Oh.
Freaking let's go. Graduating in a few months from high school. Holy shit.
Congrats, Simply.
Holy shit, you're starting the next chapter of your life. Arguably one of the best chapters, but savor this time now. I cannot stress enough. I know deep down in your core, you're probably like, frick high school, get me the frick out of here. I'm ready to move on, but enjoy life now. Because it only gets, I was gonna say it only gets worse. You don't appreciate what you have.
That's from someone who let college completely dominate her life.
You don't appreciate what you have.
But as soon as you graduate,
when you're in high school,
you got the one piece of paper that says you did it. So live it up.
Yeah, live your life
Do fun
now.
things.
Enjoy your life now and look forward to it. You're like in the best time period. That time period of looking forward to college. That summer between senior year of high school and college is like the prime of your life. Savor it.
Also, shout out Ty Sabin, comment of the chat so far. Flat Earthers losing their mind right now. They are losing their mind.
Anyway,
you might have a flat earther right here.
No, I just can't understand science. So. Geography aside, globe formulations aside, continents aside, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of today. Following up St. Patty's Day. Happy belated St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's topic, which is going to be, of course, Last of Us Season 2. Latest trailer dropped about 10 days ago or so, and everyone give a show of hands here. I think for the sake of, obviously, this video, I don't want to talk spoilers because I don't want to alienate anyone here who might have just only watched the show and not be playing the game. However, opportunity, if you want to get a little outline of the story, a little speed run, go watch Tom's gameplay.
True.
If you are so inclined, but don't feel like playing it yourself. Because I admittedly have not played The Last of Us Part 2 myself either, because it looked significantly more difficult than the first game. It looked intense, and it was double the runtime, so I'm in that boat where I have just simply watched Tom play it. I've not yet experienced it for myself, which I might try to do a speed run on my own to get that experience going in, but it could be interesting to see how that would... Shout out whoever put it green, Charlie,
Yes,
for St.
Charlie.
Patty's. To get that experience, because I did so much comparison. I think The Last of Us Part 1 is more fresh and cemented in my mind because I actually had the first person experience of playing it. Not to say that the same doesn't go for Part 2, but I think I remember more, I retained more from Part 1. So I'm curious if that were to affect my viewing experience going in, having not played the game, but just being aware of the story. But show of hands, y'all. How many of y'all know or have played the events? Haven't played it? Will be playing it
Throw a poll up
through
quick.
Tom.
Throw a poll up quick.
Good idea. Good idea. Have you played? Early poll. This is new. Oh, if only I could spell.
While you type that out,
Yes, please. You always go silent when I'm typing.
Charlie, in your member chat, you mentioned jackets. Can I...
Oh, yes, go get it.
Yeah.
Go get it. Yes, yes, yes.
The latest addition to your fine collection?
Yes, half the reason I also dipped off, y'all. I was working. I was, grinding on our latest jacket, perhaps my best work yet. I'm a little freaking salty because this one is for Tom. It was his design idea, as you guys know, because we did a poll in the past, but we went with the idea that didn't actually win the poll with you guys. We went with, gotta be careful with the glare. It looks very shiny right now. It could also very
It's
likely,
also fresh.
it is fresh. It could very likely still be a little bit tacky. Finished it literally just yesterday. Is it looking any better? Careful,
It's all glare.
yeah, it's
Sorry. Anyway.
But yes, that is the latest of our jacket ventures. I still have like 4 to go. And we have 4 weeks, so that's 1 per week. This did not take me anywhere near as long as the Ahsoka one did. Y'all know that Ahsoka one took me 7 days. This one I did in 3 days. It was like, boom, done. So expect a vlog coming soon for both of those. I still have to post the Ahsoka video. Need one, OMG. Yes, that looks quality. Thank you, Bart Church. That's amazing. Thank y'all. I'm very happy about it. Very excited about it.
For those who haven't seen the Ahsoka jacket, here is that one.
Yes. Different speed.
This is the Ahsoka jacket.
Definitely a different speed.
Featuring Rex and Anakin in Mortis 2D art style.
Yes.
Morai lurking up there.
You do a better job of explaining my artwork than I do. Yeah, so this is what we will be repping at Celebration. And we're coming down to crunch time, so I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to squeeze in, but we shall see. But Celebration and beyond. Chopper's here again! Let's freaking go!
Chopper!
Thank you for blessing us with your presence once again, and I have to give out a shout out to Chopper for always posting the best Anakin gifts. Chopper must be like a ride or die Anakin stan over on Twitter because you are always posting the best gifts, doing the Lord's work. It always makes my day. Thank you for gracing us with your presence once again. So yes, jackets, sidebar, everything aside, that is just more content pre-celebration crunch time speedrun content that I have to upload still for the pregame before we pack and get ready to Bon Voyage.
Yep.
But yes, it's looking like majority of folks have not played Last of Us Part 2. So
8 votes.
How many of y'all have been able to freaking navigate this world without spoilers? All this is
It's like
to say.
a third of the viewership has voted. So we got 2/3
True.
non-voted.
The rest of y'all might
So-
not know what we're talking about and might just be here for moral support anyway. Although I'm sure you at least know of. The Last of Us blew up as one of the top watched series on
Yeah.
HBO. Not just top ratings, but top, like, audience reception, positive reviews, which is saying something because it already had a diehard built-in fan base from the gaming community. So this is why I titled this stream "The Last of Us Season 2 is gonna break the internet," because the second game, I think, broke the gaming fan base a little bit.
Yep.
I think safe to say. Do you want to share some you were remarking on how the storytelling of part 2 is some of the best just in general ever. Do you want to give a spoiler-free little rundown since you're replaying it?
Sure.
Not of spoilers of the story, not of the storyline, but just of how the story's told, whatever. What you can say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it certainly is a direct follow-on to what happens at the end of the first game and the first season of the show, where they end up back in Jackson and Joel cleans house in a hospital. This second season is directly follows where we left off, and the cliffhangery ending that is such an incredibly hard pill to swallow. We find out how hard of a pill that was to swallow in the second game and the second season of the show. So it is the first one, you're on a mission to get Ellie to the Fireflies, which means you got to go across the entire continental United States, from Boston to Salt Lake City, Utah. And you experience the world of cordyceps infected life, and how different groups have managed to survive over a period of 20 plus years since the breakout happened. The second game doesn't really focus at all about, what is going on with this infection, how does it impact people, yada yada yada. Yeah, the infected are still there, and that's still a prevalent story, but it's much more now focusing on the human aspect and fallout of ultimately Joel's decision that he made in the end of the first game.
I was gonna say, I feel like in part 2, there's way less cordyceps, way less infected that you're killing.
Yeah, there's more humans that you're killing.
Yeah, really. The real enemy is
non-infected humans.
Humans, which is funny because I watched the trailer. Actually, I've been very behind.
Did you watch the trailer?
I did. I didn't react to it. I'm sorry. I watched it. I didn't react to it. Chopper says it perfectly accurately, though. Yeah, one spoiler-free way to describe part 2. Brutal, 1000%.
Yep.
People are gonna riot enemies. Yes. I do not think we as a civilization, because the season 1 had such big turnout, and especially word of mouth, like, I don't know, it erupted, I feel like, throughout the season, the viewership and the reception. I think it had all the diehards and the gamers, like, and also they had Pedro Pascal. They had a great cast, and he's a big lure, a big pull for people. So I think a lot of diehards and, Pedro Pascal fans were watching up front. But then I feel like word of mouth, everybody got hold of, like, oh, this is actually a really good adaptation. Really faithful.
Not even adaptation, but the story's just awesome. So people who have never played the game watching it, they're like, oh my god, this is just another great HBO show.
Exactly.
And the word of mouth spreading of it was insane.
And I learned this when I did my video forever ago about the pipeline of video games becoming, like, the new material for Hollywood to work with. And I think Last of Us being a big stepping stone, inspirer. I don't really know what the verb is for that. The Last of Us being a big catalyst for that and its success. I don't think every other video game that would be turned into a Hollywood adaptation would be anywhere near as successful, because not everything has the same freaking story. The Last of Us is just unlike anything ever that you've experienced emotionally, mentally. But when I made that video about video games becoming TV shows being a more frequent thing, I learned that it is, like, the highest rated HBO, like, production. It's, like, at the top of the list, and that's saying something, because HBO has just quality after quality show. Granted, they don't always stick the landing, so that's why this is interesting because we are approaching potentially a very divisive season that I think is going to cause people to lose their minds.
Well, the difference here is that the show has only come out. I mean, it's what, 2 years since it came out?
True versus
The difference
10?
between the game was first game came out in 2011.
So it was like a decade.
Yeah, it was almost a decade between games, between Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2.
That's actually a really fair point.
So versus now, it's been 5 years since Last of Us 2 came out, the game. It's only been 2 years since season 1 of the show came out. So the gap in time between having no idea what happens in the story to when we get to see it in season 2 is a much smaller amount of time. And yes, there are some people who are going to watch the show who have no idea what happens, who have only watched season 1 of the show. They'll have been thinking about it for 2 years. But that's a very small, I think, small number of people who aren't going to know anything that happens. A small percentage of the audience who's going to end up watching season 2. So I think, I don't have any data off the top, off the cuff here to back that up, but that's just the feeling. Is that it's not going to hit as hard as when the second game came out and no one knew what happened and then hit like a bomb. But now...
Did you play it in 2011, the original? When did you play it?
No, I played it way after. Because it came out on PS3.
I was going to say
it got released on PS4, or I played it on PS4. I played it in high school sometime. Which, I mean, 4 or 5 years after it came out. That's probably when I played it.
So you weren't waiting the full decade.
No.
But you still were waiting longer than I was. I played part 1. I think you encouraged me to play it right before the second one came out.
Yeah.
So I was pretty fresh, maybe a few months or so freshly off of part 1. So I had a different experience I didn't have. But you make a really good point. There's so much, and we always come back to that argument on this channel, on this podcast, how the duration, passage of time, and the longer you make people wait, the anticipation can create this pent-up energy that if there is a disappointing result, or if people don't feel satisfied or something, it's like exacerbated in a way.
It is.
Steve, what's up?
Because
Heyo,
you have, the longer you wait, the amount of time you're going to have diverging theories and the pure number of theories and expectations building, the pressure just continues to escalate.
Yeah, it's like a pressure cooker.
Yeah, versus if you have the whole story, bang, 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 then it's like, oh, this is the whole story. I don't have time to speculate in between the parts. I literally just get the whole story at once. Which is why them releasing the 3 Andor episodes per arc all at once is huge, because if it was week to week to week, it leaves more room for theorizing and expectation building and dissatisfaction with the ending of the episode because you don't know what's happens and there's no questions being answered and all of that stuff. And then, yeah, that's on the order of week to week. But, I mean, if you're talking about a decade, 10 years, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Ty asks a really good question. Is The Last of Us the greatest video game adaptation? I feel like I need to play more games and watch more of their counterparts, but I guess I don't really have anything else to compare it to. Only other video game adaptation I've watched, not to its entirety, is The Witcher, but I also didn't actually play that game, so I was kind of cheating a little bit. Not cheating, but I was a layperson going into it. The show, the Netflix series, was my first exposure to it, so I had nothing to go off of. I'm trying to think, what other video games... I made that whole freaking video about how the pipeline is about to burst, which I still believe it is, because if you Google any video game that you like, whatever your current favorite video game is, Even The Sims, y'all. The Sims is getting a video game adaptation. Like, that's how you know. What the frick is that game going to be about? I don't know, because that's literally just a game where you play house. And you just use cheat codes and whatnot to give your family, you know, a bunch of money so that you can just build mega mansions and have all these babies and whatnot. So it's like, what's that going to be about? But that's just to show you a frame of reference. If The Sims is getting a video game to film adaptation, I guess we have, like, you know, Minecraft and whatnot.
They cancel the Minecraft one's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they cancel that Horizon series? Wasn't Netflix gonna do
Perhaps
a Horizon series based off the Horizon games?
Perhaps.
And they canceled that?
There's actually been some drama surrounding that,
Oh.
if you've seen online.
Oh, I have not.
There was an AI generated, since the video game actors are still on strike, I guess there was some Horizon promotional something that happened. I did not read the full story, so I could be spreading fake news. But I think the voice actress of Aloy came out and made a video saying there was new Aloy voiced content that was AI generated. It wasn't her. I have to fully brush up on that.
For the movie?
Well, that's why I was like, oh, is this actually
just
happening?
For promotion,
I don't know.
Like for a third game, they're just using.
No. Anyway, to address the question, is The Last of Us the greatest adaptation? Nick Gundy, member for 37 months. Thank you so much, my friend. Can I vote that I've watched people play the game? You know what? Fair point. Fair point. Because I think a lot of people might know the story from having just watched the cutscene compilations and whatnot. So that's fair. That counts. That would be valid. But still, for the most part, more votes in, and majority are saying no. And I think this goes to show that, I mean, if you also watched, how many of y'all are voting no and at least watched season 1? Because I think the sign of a good adaptation is that it drew in the casual, the non-gaming fan base. Like, for Witcher, when I watched that on Netflix, and perhaps I just wasn't giving it a fair chance, I never finished it, as I said. And I say that as a Henry Cavill stan. Like, I don't know why I didn't finish it. I can't explain it other than I felt like there was lore, there were things that I was missing from having not played the game. I felt like certain scenes, I was just like, okay, this kind of just feels like it was a boss fight in the game, but I don't really understand the context or what else is going on. Like, I felt like I was missing something, and my experience was hollow because I hadn't played the game, so I just felt like there were key things that I was not registering, whereas I think The Last of Us, you can follow along regardless because it was pretty faithful, and but they still fleshed out. I mean, there were scenes that were word for word. Like, I think that's why it was so successful. They didn't deviate from the good stuff they already had. They played some shiz word for word, but still then went and deviated in other areas to flesh out other characters or add some, you know, other elements, other world building to the story. With Bill and Frank.
Yep.
Is that his name, Frank? For example.
Yeah, we basically got a whole fleshed out backstory for Bill. So, I mean, yeah, they changed some things, but all relatively minor. The major story beats and even minor story beats are all pretty much the same. Like, instead of Pittsburgh, they were in Kansas City, but they like fleshed out the backstory of that town and the Raiders and all that stuff. Like, it's more fleshed out. Sam, instead of just being a kid, was now a multi-disabled kid. But like, the changes they made were to enhance the level of tragedy of the story, which they did a pretty good job of that. They did a pretty good job.
Bird Church says, I voted no, but I did watch the show and I knew some main points, but it also felt fun going into the story, blissfully ignorant. Yep. Savor that energy for season 2. That's why, and that's why I commend y'all, because I feel like a lot of people are not slick with spoilers online, so tread carefully, be safe, be careful. This is a spoiler-free zone for now. Debating whether I should react to that show because I'm going to be backlogged with Andor, y'all. We're going to have 3 episodes a week. I'm going to be busy, and the shows are going to be airing pretty simultaneously throughout April into May, so
if only you had a tool.
debating. Excuse me. But yes,
It's totally worth it. If it's the biggest HBO show of all time,
I know.
you gotta react to it.
I know, and I
choice.
copped out, and I only started to get in. I did like the last 2 episodes of season 1 for some reactions, but I'm contemplating it, especially because there's more. Speaking of whether this will be a faithful adaptation compared to season 1, like we were saying, it's the second game is double the play time. The campaign is 20 hours or something like that, so that's like 2 seasons worth. So this one in particular will be interesting to see how they split it, because inevitably they are going to split it. Dare I say, I feel like this season could end on a big unresolved cliffhanger.
Well, I mean, if it ends where we just left off in the McBot streams, which is like halfway through the game, that would be a brutal, absolutely brutal way to end off the season. If it literally follows the game and they just split the game in half, just split it in half, and season 2 of the show is the first half of the second game, and then season 3 would be the second half, and don't change the structuring, I mean, that would be completely, totally brutal. But I could totally see them doing it that way, because like the first half of the game is basically like the kind of reveal of everything that has happened, and then the second half is, okay, now let's get the other side of the story and build that up. So I could totally see him doing that, and it would be completely a gut-wrenching way to end a TV series, season of a series. But they did it with the game. They made you grind for 10 hours to get to that point, and then you got to keep grinding. You got to grind for another 10 hours to get the rest of the whole.
I just remember
picture.
So much of the second game when you were playing through it. We were like, okay, surely we must be near the end. And can you see your progress? Does it show your percentage when you're playing through of the story? I can't remember, but I just remember there were so many times when we were like, it's got to be over soon. We got to be getting there. And then it's like, oh my God, you've already been playing again for another 7 hours. So I guess we're not close to the end. But Chopper, yes, aren't they going to split the second game's story into more than one season? I believe so. I think they already clarified that they're not going to try to merge it all in, especially if they're going to take some creative liberties and do what they did with part 1 and flesh it out more and add some new characters, build upon existing character storylines and whatnot. Like we said, dedicate an entire episode to Bill and Frank. There were some unexpected elements that they hashed out some more, so I can't see them limiting themselves with that creative freedom, their creative license in season 2, just for the sake of, they're already not going to try to condense all 20 plus hours of that gameplay into 10 episodes. It was 8 episodes. It wasn't even 10 episodes, right? I think it was 8 episodes.
I think so, yeah.
Season 1, so...
I think it was.
Bird Church. I know Caitlin Dever is cast in the new season, and she was amazing in Justified Season 2. Yes, and this is an interesting casting for those of y'all who have played the game and know of her character. I don't really want to say anything because I feel like it's hard to discuss without spoilers, but needless to say, if you are aware of her character, it's gonna be interesting. Gotta head out, says Sal. Good night. Thanks so much for being
Later,
here,
Sal.
my friend. With how long the story is in that game, it would feel too rushed if it were crammed. I agree. And I feel like season 1 had room to breathe with the stuff that they added and whatnot. So Jay's here. Let's get it.
What's up, Jay?
Now we're lucky if we get 10 episodes, says Ty. I agree. I still feel like we never fully addressed your question of whether or not Last of Us is the best live action video game adaptation. A lot of you guys were saying Fallout, and I have to still watch that show. Haven't played that game, but I do want to watch that show.
Yeah.
But a lot of you guys were saying a concern of mine with that show was, I never played the game, would I still like it? And so many of you guys were saying, yes, you don't have to have played the game in order to appreciate it. You'll have a great experience. And I feel like that's a huge marker that is similar for The Last of Us, I would say. If anything, I was worried about having played the game. I was like, I don't know if anything's going to top this. the visceral reactions that you feel, the just true guttural horror and fear, like when you're actually tapped into the game, you know, the experience of it all when you're playing. I was like, how is this going to be translated into a viewing experience? But I think that they nailed it. The anticipation, the edge of your seat, I didn't feel at all. I went in concerned that my viewing was going to be impeded by the fact that I just held the game to such high regard. But I don't think... Dang, I want to rewatch... We need to rewatch season 1. This is getting me really hyped.
Yeah, we do. We do need to rewatch it, because I've been watching a long time. And we've already rewatched Andor, so we're good for Andor coming out. We just finished rewatching Ahsoka, even though that's not coming out anytime soon. We just decided to rewatch it. Well, we got the Ahsoka panel at Celebration, so maybe that's why we decided to rewatch it. So yeah, maybe it is now time to rewatch Last of Us Season 1.
Yes.
Before the show comes out in 3 weeks.
Chandler Morgan, I'm going to try to answer with no spoilers. Do you think that Abby deserves the hate that she gets? And this is a conversation that we were having the other night. My personal opinion, no. And I think a lot of the hate you are referring to plays into what you were saying about, I don't know, a decade's worth of anticipation, and so much of that then gets projected onto Abby, I feel like. Well, shout out! Yeah. Shout out, Danny! Thank you thank you so much, my friend. Hope everyone is well. So sorry to change the topic. Don't be sorry. But Kat, would you ever do a rewatch or review of the original trilogy and prequel trilogy with a comprehensive breakdown of your thoughts? Also, Tom, your McBoss streams feel like hanging out with a friend. Oh, that's like the nicest thing ever.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you. You are a legend, sir.
Shout out, Danny, because that's a great idea. I never actually thought of that. If somebody would actually... I feel like I could do that with a sequel trilogy, too. But especially original and prequel. I never actually considered that. Doing just, like, my breakdown of things, a little commentary. I did that a little bit with, you know, Attack of the Clones, because I still, to this day, believe every word I said in that video. That it's underrated for so many reasons. So, I'm gonna steal that. Thank you, Danny. You just handed me content. Especially, that would be fun to do leading up to do something like that, a little retrospective leading up to, like, the re-release of Revenge of the Sith in theaters. Danny, thank you, my friend. You're feeding me the content.
We could live stream Revenge of the Sith from the theater.
Not sure how legal that would be, but...
yeah, Lucasfilm, Disney, if you're watching, kidding. Totally kidding. But yeah, Danny, you were too generous, sir.
Thank you so much. Adelbert says, in regards to Abby, one episode is going to be a Rocky-esque montage of her bulking up. Bet on it. LOL. Well, I think they made it clear that the actress Caitlin Dever did not get swole for the role, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, she's not too swole in any of the trailer footage.
Yeah, no. And I think I've seen her work in other things, and I think she's going to be great. I think she's going to be able to handle the really complex nature of Abby. There's so much of Abby's character and the moral, and why I think she's not deserving of the hate that she gets and the vitriol for her character is because it all boils down to perspectives. So, and I think Caitlin's going to be able to do a really good job. I hope, actually, thank you for pointing that out. I think there could be justice and redemption. This is a lot to put on Caitlin Dever's shoulders here, and I know she already has, hopefully not succumbed to all the pressure and the vitriol that already surrounds that character. And we were even watching that short on YouTube the other day of one of her castmates saying how she had to have beefed up security and whatnot. Like, the showrunners are well aware of the reception to this character, and so I think that they had that built in to keep her safeguarded and whatnot. But I hope, actually, this could be a huge opportunity for some, like, not redemption for Abby as a character, but, like, to paint her in a new light and have Caitlyn's performance with her acting chops. And I think I don't know, the show that I saw her in, it was Dope Sick with Michael Keaton on Hulu, and Rosario Dawson as well, y'all. And she did a great job of like capturing just, she was a flawed character, but she had vulnerability, and she had this great, she could switch on a dime and go back and forth, but you were still like rooting for her in spite of all her obstacles and whatnot. But she had this great vulnerability, and I think that's something that she can add that is already there for Abby's character that gets overlooked. But I don't know, I didn't think about it that way, that this could be an opportunity for some new perspective, like a new lens on Abby. Maybe the internet won't break.
I mean, I
beg to differ.
I agree that the reality is, after you've played the whole thing, Abby is a fully fleshed out character, and you completely understand her motives, and you realize that she is like, the feelings you have around her is completely different than where you meet her first introduced into the game. And the people that she surrounded herself with are really the ones who were more morally lost and did things, and were going to do things that Abby ultimately put a stop to.
I was trying to talk and not spoilers.
We're doing a great job.
Did this.
We're doing a great job. So you realize, and ultimately Ellie realizes, that at the end of the day, Abby was arguably justified in some of her actions, but the people she surrounded herself with really were the bad, like the more inhumane people. So the way the whole thing winds together is really, really, really fascinating. But you still got to get over that first hump.
Well,
that first character introduction to Abby.
We are not going to delve much deeper into that. Sean, yes, I did get your email. This goes for anyone who has sent a reminder, actually, for our 60K subscriber appreciation celebration event coming up next month. If you have sent an email, I probably got it. I'm just not responding to all of them because I don't want to look and like spoil if there's something in there for, you know, if there's artwork or photography. I want to be able to capture my raw reaction, so I'm not sending replies to everybody. So don't be alarmed if I don't reply to you. I probably still got your email. So yes, but reminder, you have until the end of this month, March 31st. Submissions still open, still cooking. If y'all want to send in some sort of video, it can be anything you want. Doesn't have to be video even. It can be artwork, photography, PDFs, writing, poetry, screenplay, anything you can think of, sports footage, you playing an instrument, you learning an instrument, because somebody made a really good point in a previous stream that, you know, they didn't feel like they had a special skill that was worth sharing. But even if you're like learning something, learning a new skill, learning jujitsu, learning to be a X Games biker, like, and you,
if you got a cool program or algorithm you've wrote and it does something cool,
if you don't mind somebody viewing it, whatever it is,
robotics,
literally anything at all. If you built an epic freaking treehouse or something like that, oh, I thought it was March 25th. No, you have time, Daddy Josh. And who knows, because I feel like in previous years too, I've reached the deadline, and then some people just didn't catch on or didn't know what we were doing, and then they were like, oh shoot, I would have sent something. So March 31st could come and go, and we might extend it based on, you know, because not everybody's as active, as chronically online as I am, so they might not check in on the channel for a hot minute. But then if they happen to check back a month after I posted that video and they're like, no, I would have sent something, so we'll see. But yes, but I don't be alarmed if I don't respond to your email. Trust trust in the interwebs, trust in the ether, in the force that I got it. But yes,
Fortnite clips.
anything could be anything.
Fortnite clips, Sean. If it's owning me or not, it's not very hard to do, but it could be. Fortnite clips,
But
gaming
yes.
clips.
Who was it? I think Ty had a really interesting point. I wonder what kind of person I would be in a zombie apocalypse. And I say this all the freaking time, y'all. I would not be trying anywhere near as hard as these people are to survive. But that's one thing I love about The Last of Us. And I say this, I'm a freaking broken record, and y'all can tell me to shut up and stop bringing up this point every time I talk about this show or this game. But the whole moral is that there are scarier things. Human beings themselves, when pushed to the brink, when pushed to the absolute extreme of survival or sanity, are the bigger threat at the end of the day. Like, humanity knows no bounds, and that also comes into play when it comes to survival and the lengths people will go to, even if they have to step on others to claw their way to the next day. Like I said, I wouldn't be trying as hard as some folks are in the zombie apocalypse. But you don't know. Yeah, it can take a good person. See, this is why, okay, we're going to talk about season 1. Melanie Linsky's character. The woman, the character you didn't really like. That was introduced in conjunction with the Sam arc and whatnot. I forget her character's name, which isn't helping my argument. You didn't really like her because she wasn't menacing enough, was your point. Somebody hit me up. Look up the cast of season 1 and tell me what Melanie Linsky's character was.
It was, yes, it was a...
She was like running the town.
Yes, but it was not running the town of a bunch of savage raiders. And yes, I think that she was not, like, the way she was playing the part didn't seem like it was...
Thank you.
The character, the performance didn't match what they were trying to sell the character as, I think.
The zombie apocalypse Karen, says Stanley's. But
yes, that's a great way to put it.
I think her character was to show that she's just this regular, like, look what the apocalypse could do to anyone. Not everyone is this menacing, vicious enemy, villain. She, like, it turned her into that, and you didn't like her because she wasn't that menacing or scary or threatening or intimidating, because she's just a middle-aged, she's just a regular person who was driven to this point of having to terrorize people, but she clearly hated having to do that. I don't know, I gotta rewatch it. I'm a big fan of Melanie Linsky.
Yeah, I don't know how she kept control of that group, is what I don't get.
But that's the point, though. It's like the most unsuspecting people turn into these ferocious villains.
But she's not a ferocious villain.
But
she's just a middle-aged woman.
She was employing some unsavory methods. She was
Kansas City
people.
Karen.
Kansas City.
There's nothing. There's nothing in the performance or the character that she gives that says, "Oh, this lady is the leader here for a reason."
But
I mean, maybe I honestly forget exactly how that arc
we gotta
closes with her
rewatch
because it's been forever since we've watched that.
You don't remember her getting absolutely devoured by the bloater?
Okay, well, no, I actually kind of forgot about it.
Oh,
so
gotta rewatch that.
But
I really want to rewatch the show now. Why haven't we? Probably because it's just such an emotional gut punch. You can't just rewatch The Last of Us. You have to mentally prepare yourself. It's crazy that she's from New Zealand. I always forget that, Ty. Yes. I only ever watch her when she does, like, American accents. But I concur with Bird Church here in regards to how hard we would all be fighting if we were to live through the apocalypse. I would happily go into the empty rural areas and just chill. Don't mind me, and I won't mind you.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, Frank and Bill drinking wine, eating steaks.
HTD, thank you. Her brother was the leader, and that's why she took the reins.
Ah.
That's why. I totally forgot about that part, and she was trying to avenge him because wasn't Sam a little bit responsible for her brother's demise. I think that's why she was hunting them
Yep.
down.
Yeah.
Gotta go back and rewatch it, but thank you. Your memory is sharper than ours. Needed that refresher. But I think that's what some of the best morals are from The Last of Us. Like, anyone can be more threatening. Like, it's scarier to see what people can do to you. The clickers, they just want to kill you. They can eat you. Yeah, they can and will eat you, as we learned.
They could serve you up like a plate of deer meat.
Clickers just want to eat you, but it's not personal. They're not there anymore. Their brain's not there. Yeah, they're scary and terrifying, and their sole mission is to try to kill you. But when it's another conscious, living, surviving human being, it's almost more terrifying what they will possibly do. Maybe they'll eat you too. As we have learned, oh god, that makes my stomach freaking churn just thinking about that episode. Ugh. I was so excited to go online after that one and see. I need to watch The Walking Dead, and I told myself I was going to do it, especially after Last of Us Season 1, because a lot of people were making comparisons and juxtapositions between the two, and I just never did. But good point, Walking Dead was the same. People are usually scarier than the walkers. I should watch it and react to it, but I would have my work cut out for me because it's like 7 seasons.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yes, you would.
Because I've heard it kind of... I've heard it tapers off. But yes, do you have any final poll ideas? Okay, so it evened out. 50% of folks here did not play the game, but as we learned from Nick, that does not necessarily mean that you don't know the story. Yeah. But to those who haven't, I say Godspeed as we go into the final few weeks before the new season comes out. Stay sharp, keep your guard up when it comes to the spoilers and whatnot. Oh, but yes, Charlie, I don't know why I didn't watch Walking Dead forever ago, because one of my former acting coaches, yes, was on the show. I watched like his episodes, like I looked up his character and tried to find clips of him, and I didn't know, of course, what the frick was going on. So I think it would probably hit harder if I actually do watch the show. But he was just so cool. He was a great coach, and he's just a very cool guy. I remember that being an incentive. I was like, oh, he was on Walking Dead, but I hadn't even watched the show. I would love to see your face as you see his character True. I think he's in one of the later seasons, so I would at least have to get that far. And then there's all the spin-offs. There's like there are like 5 Walking Dead spin-offs. No? There's a lot.
No clue.
There is a lot. Any final poll ideas for this evening? Sorry, I'll have an eyelash. Would you rather be eaten by a clicker or be eaten by... what's his name?
A human?
What was the scary guy's name?
Clicker. In
season 1.
Easily Clicker.
That was a joke. Poll question. For the record.
Easily Clicker. Dave? Was his name Dave? I think it was Dave.
Maybe. I think so.
I think it was Dave.
Sorry, y'all. Had an eyelash in my eye for the past like 50 seconds.
Poll could be... Are you going to watch?
Oh. Good idea.
David, that's what it was. Not Dave. David. Bird Church member, 27 months. Shout out Bird Church.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Played Walking Dead Telltale game earlier and talking Last of Us tonight. Guarantee I'm being chased by the dead or infected tonight. Bird Church, you probably will be.
Sorry, that's our fault.
You probably will be. But you're going to outrun them. Just throw a Molotov cocktail at them and take them right out.
Yeah, we prepped. Right out. We were prepping. We were talking about our survival. How far people are going to go for their survival tactics. It's fine. Stanley's poses an interesting question. I love the way we've been trying to dodge spoilers. Will they change how the event goes down or keep it the same as the game? I can't imagine they would tamper with it because
Yeah.
in the game it's perfectly executed, I think.
Yeah,
And
it sparks the rage
yup.
and the desire to go on a hate campaign afterwards.
Don't say anymore. You've already said too much.
It does what it needs to do
Yeah.
to push the story forward. So I would say no, they don't change it. And I think that it goes pretty much exactly the same.
Similarly to season 2 in terms of the chronology of the way the story unfolds is very different. Well, it's not very different. It's different, I think. There's more room that they could play around and tweak it even further and kind of jump around in the storyline and the timeline and whatnot, but they did do some of that in season 1 too. It happens in part 1, so it is so hard not to talk about it. I agree. We're over here trying to like speak in code. We probably sound like gibberish. In hindsight, I'm shocked we were able to even keep this going for close to an hour because we made it 20 minutes through and I was like, why did I make this the topic? We can't say anything.
Yeah, totally not related. Bird Church, you watched the Players playoff yesterday? Rory McIlroy clinching the dub. It's pretty good at golf. Rory McIlroy. It's pretty good at golf.
He's gonna be in.
Pretty good at golf.
You see the new Happy Gilmore trailer?
I didn't watch it, but screw Last of Us. The Happy Gilmore 2 trailer came out today. Screw everything we've been talking about. Smooth transition into golf, by the way, for everyone who's in the know here. But literally Happy Gilmore 2 trailer came out today. I have not watched it. I saw it came out and I was like, oh, I gotta
I know I haven't watched it, but I just saw some photos.
Yeah.
And I think he makes a cameo, perhaps. I don't know.
I know. The other dude didn't even have a chance. Rory steps up, smokes like a 360-yard drive right down the gut. Game over.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, a crucial piece of Tom's lore is that Happy Gilmore is his favorite film of like all time. Your room looks like Mustafar. It does. That red light is permeating. Looks
very red in here.
Intense up in here. Yes, I'm excited to go watch the second trailer. I'm hoping that it ends up being. I don't think Adam Sandler would have agreed to do it if he didn't have faith that it was going to be good. I don't believe he's doing it just to collect a paycheck, and I don't think he would have agreed to do it if he didn't think that it would be fun and somewhere near compatible with the caliber of the first one. Yeah. So we will see. But yes, we got a trailer and the release date for that. I don't know when it is, so we gotta go watch the trailer. So stay tuned. For perhaps we'll be geeking out about that next week, y'all. Happy Gilmore.
Yeah. R.I.P. Chubbs, Ty. I know. R.I.P. Chubbs. It's very sad. It's very sad that Carl Weathers will not be here to. He's not here. He's not around to participate because.
Surely they are going to pay tribute to him.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Someone else will get added into the heavens, and you'll have Chubbs and the alligator, and Grandma.
Yep.
Is Grandma dead? In the end of Happy Gilmore?
No.
She's alive, right?
Yes, yeah, she goes and gets the house with him.
I feel like there was a third. Oh, is it Abe Lincoln?
Abe Lincoln.
Wasn't it Abe Lincoln? Abe Lincoln.
Dang, maybe we'll go watch
Abe
Happy Gilmore
Lincoln
tonight.
And Chubbs and the alligator. So there'll be a something else to join them, and then we'll see the Chubbs tribute.
Tuesday's gone with the wind. Yeah. Well, on that note, folks, Tuesday is gone. Steve, thank you for being here, and good reminder, yes, gonna go prep for Daredevil. I forgot about that, so I hope you guys, if you've been watching, that it's been good. I don't know what to make of the reviews that I've seen because I don't watch, nor I still gotta watch the original series, so stay tuned for that if I react to it. That could be fun, but we have our work cut out for us. We got Last of Us, we got Andor. We got a lot going on. We have our prequel trilogy retrospective, Happy Gilmore. Lots in the pipeline. So thank you all so very much for joining, especially after, once again, apologies for dipping last week and ghosting y'all and being elusive with no mention of our hiatus. Won't let that happen again. I'm going to try not to. But in the meantime, thank you so very much for watching. Daredevil has been hurting, but that's the nature of the show. Oh, God. That feels like an incentive to watch. That sounds fun. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I like the way you described that, Chop. But thank you all so much for being here. We hope you have a great rest of your day, night, morning, evening, 3 a.m., wherever you may be. And we will see you guys again very, very soon.
Yeah. And for those who want to keep riding the Last of Us train, if you head over to McBots in an hour-ish, we'll continue the journey over there.
Yes, can't wait.
Over there. So feel free to come over and hang out.
Yeah, go get some of the story. Speed run.
Yeah.
May the force be with you. Frick yes, Tony. Godspeed, y'all.
Yes. Also with you, Tony. Also with you.
Thinking, what would people say to each other in The Last of Us universe? Stay alive. Survive. Survive.
Don't get bit.
Yep. And we will see you guys. See you guys again very soon.
Later, everybody.
Bye, guys.